you able to just push record and come sit over with Mom and those guys?
No, I'll just sit here.
Okay.
Welcome everyone out to this great Eagles Court for Dallas. We're going to start out with the flag ceremony. We'll start out with that, and then we're gonna go into singing the Star Spangled Banner. If everyone will join us on that. And if there's any Eagle Scouts who'd like them to come up and sit in the eagle's nest, is there anyone that has? We'll go to that point, continue on.
Color guard attention. Color guard advance. The audience, please rise. Color guard post colors. That is join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That is mainstreaming for the singing of the Star Spangled Banner. Color guard business.
Sing and you speak.
perseverate for the gospel and for the scouting program and how it has changed many of the young men's lives. We're grateful for Dallas and his willingness to commit himself to the program and to do what is right. We'd ask that bless him, that he will continue to show as much devotion as he has throughout scouting in all aspects of his life. We're again grateful for all that we have, and we say these things humbly in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. This time we'll have a couple speakers. First we'll hear from Harry Askus, and then we'll hear from Brian Sorensen. And after that, Bishop Owen Rollins will come up and make some remarks.
Well, Dallas has to be up here as I give my talk, so come on over here, Dallas. Right here. It'd be a real good chance to do a roast with something like that, with him up in the air like that, but I thought about it and I thought, well, I don't know anything done there as stupid as Dallas has ever done. He's always ever done everything right, and so there's just no way that we could do a roast at this time. Especially since we're gathered here tonight to honor him, not to roast him, that's for sure. But what I'm going to be going through is the words of the song by John Denver called The Eagle, and how the words of the song apply to an Eagle Scout. And though he hasn't got pinned yet tonight, he actually is an Eagle Scout right now. So think of Dallas as an Eagle right now as I go through my talk. I'm going to just repeat the lyrics and then explain a little bit about the lyrics as we go. It starts off with, I am the eagle, I live in high country, in rocky cathedrals that reach to the sky. And really what also means there is that I also live by high standards. It says I live in the high country, but the eagle also lives by higher standards. Higher than most of the other boys that join in the scouting program even. He lives by the scout oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. So that's quite a standard that Dallas has been living up to all of his life. It says, in rocky cathedrals that reach to the sky. Well, I know that the cathedrals that Eagle Scouts sometimes are in our churches also. And our churches all reach to the sky. You don't have to always be on a mountain cathedral. The church is also a cathedral that reaches to the sky. And Dallas has always magnified his priesthood callings. Been there a lot of times. Church starts at 12:30. He'll be one of the first ones there, especially as he was when he was a teacher, to help get the sacrament and everything set up. That's quite an accomplishment, especially with this size family, to get there that early. I had a hard time getting there at 12:30 myself. Then the second verse says, I am the hawk, and there's blood on my feathers, but time is still turning, they soon will be dry. What the blood on the feathers represents is the hard work. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to make it to become an Eagle Scout. It's a long road, as Dallas will admit. A lot of work, a lot of late hours, especially with the Eagle Project, and a lot of telephoning and getting things done, and the 21 merit badges. You have 21? Good. I thought maybe you might have some extra ones. As long as you have 21, that's good. That's a lot of work. 21 merit badges is always a lot of work. And then it says, the time is still turning, they soon will be dry. In other words, the blood and the workload of becoming an Eagle Scout, you soon forget. And all you can remember is that Eagle patch that you have. It's kind of like a mother when she has a baby. Once she gets that baby in her arms, she forgets all the pain of having a baby. So it's the same way with Eagle Scout. Once you attain the rank of Eagle, all that hard work and everything's in the past, and that you forget about it. And when someone comes up to you, and they say, what were you in the scouting program? And Dallas says, yes. And what rank did you attain? And he'll be able to say, I attained the rank of Eagle, which is only about 2%, 2 in 100 scouts that join scouting, making the rank of Eagle. So that's quite an accomplishment. Next verse says, and all those who see me, and all who believe in me, share in the freedom I feel when I fly. Well, that's, everyone believes in an Eagle Scout. I remember when I joined the Army, we had 100 of us troops there in the basic program, and they said, how many of you are Eagle Scouts? About 3 guys raised their hand. It was 3 in that bunch of 100. And they were automatically made the zone leaders and squadron leaders because they were Eagle Scouts. So everyone believes in an Eagle Scout. And they believe that he will always do what's right, do the right thing, and they also believe that he will always be trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. And so that's just the reputation that goes along with an Eagle Scout. And then they said, and share in the freedom he feels when he flies. Everyone, when they see an Eagle Scout, they share in his accomplishment. It's like your parents and your friends are sharing in this accomplishment tonight that you have made the rank of Eagle. The next verse says, come dance with the west wind and touch on the mountaintops. Sail over the canyons and up to the stars. In other words, to follow his example, you younger scouts should follow Dallas's example and also work for the rank of Eagle. That it's worth it. It's just like the eagle sails over the cliffs and stuff, and we all are amazed when he does it. It's the same way with the Eagle Scout. Once you attain the rank of Eagle, there's a lot of joy in that and a lot of accomplishment in that. And so that's one of the things that Dallas will be doing in the future, is that he'll be able to work, because he is an Eagle Scout, he'll probably be called on to work in the scouting program sometime in the near future to help other young men to attain that rank. And the last verse says, and reach for the heavens and hope for the future and all that we can be, not just what we are. And so in other words, to reach for the heavens is to reach for your Father in heaven, to return back to the celestial kingdom, and to return with honor to your Father in heaven. Dallas has returned with honor to his earthly father every night after a day of school and a day of partying and doing the things that he enjoys doing. He's always returned with honor at home. And so if you can just maintain that, once you attain the rank of Eagle, it's a little easier for a young man to maintain that, to always return with honor each evening and also at the end of his life, and he goes on to hopefully the celestial kingdom. Then he says, and be all that we can be, not just what we are. In other words, we should all strive to improve ourselves. June 1st, 2008, hopefully we'll all have improved in some way. Each year of our lives we've been given in our life, we all should try to improve. Just as Dallas has improved a lot in these first years of his life, we should all try to improve and to follow the example that Dallas has to becoming the rank of Eagle. Listen how John Denver says, not just what we are. That's the last verse of the song. He says, not just what we are. So kind of scolding us, wants us all to be not just what we are, but something better. So I want to congratulate Dallas, but stay up there all through the song. So I'll turn the song on now, and he gets to stand up there through it, and then when I turn it off, then let's give him a big round of applause after the song's over.
So, you've been pedestalized, Dallas, and I didn't even do it. As Dallas is at this point in his life, boyhood's over with, adulthood begins. He's receiving his Eagle Award at the same time as he's finishing his high school career, and he's on with the rest of his life. And I think it's really important that he obtain the rank of Eagle, and I'm not the only one. As Harry mentioned, the military thinks it's important. Business world thinks it's important. People throughout the world think it's important, and people in the church think it's important that a young man achieve his Eagle rank. Why do they think it's important? Even people who've had nothing to do with the scouting program have an emphasis on it. And there's a lot of aspects as to why. The first thing that comes to mind as why earning your Eagle can help a young man through his future is the skills that you need to learn. You learn a lot of skills. You learn how to build a fire. You learn how to stay warm in the winter. You learn how to do first aid. You learn how to help other people. You learn how to be of service. You learn how to tie knots. And all of these things are good, but are they really important enough for the rest of the society to place an emphasis on it? I don't think so. There's the leadership aspect. In order to be an Eagle Scout, you have to have served in several leadership positions and then put on a leadership service project. And leadership is one of the crucial things that people learn in scouting, and it's really important. But it's still not the reason. That's one reason that, the military and some business people and stuff put an emphasis on it. The next thing that comes to my mind is goal setting. You have to learn how to set goals. You have to learn how to follow through. You have to learn how, when your goals are set back, how to adjust, how to compensate, how to change plans midstream, how to deal with things that come up and still obtain your goal. And that's one of the really important things. But in my opinion, none of these things are the reason that the rest of the world puts such a high emphasis on the Eagle Scout. Because while all of these things are very useful, they don't determine how a person will use those skills, that leadership ability, and those goal-setting ability. Those can be used for bad purposes as well as good purposes. So the most important thing, in my opinion, that a young man can get from earning his Eagle Scout is character. And it's the character of a man that determines how he uses all of the tools that he's developed throughout up to this point in his life. Now, scouting teaches us to measure character on 12 levels. And every young man who joins scouting memorizes those characteristics and promises to live by them. Will all the scouts and old scouts stand up and repeat with me the 12 points in the scout law? A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Thank you. When I joined Scouts, it wasn't enough to memorize that. We had to memorize what each one of them meant. And I want to run through these really quick because, Dallas, if you live the rest of your life by these principles, no matter what paths you choose to trot the rest of your life, no matter what course you take, if you live by these principles, you will be judged a success. A scout is trustworthy. A scout's honor is to be trusted. If he were to violate his honor by telling a lie or by cheating or by not doing exactly a given task when trusted on his honor, he may be directed to hand over his scout badge. Now this is the old one I had to memorize. I think they've changed a few little things in there. I like this one because it was mine. A scout is loyal. He is loyal to all whom loyalty is due. His scout leaders, his home, his parents, and his country. And I'll add, his church. A scout is helpful. He must be prepared at any time to save life, help injured persons, and share the home duties. He must do at least one good turn to somebody every day. A scout is friendly. A scout is a friend to all and a brother to every other scout. A scout is courteous. He is polite to all.
especially to women, children, old people, and the weak and the helpless. He must not take pay for being helpful or courteous. A scout is kind. He is a friend to animals. He will not kill nor hurt any living creature needlessly, but will strive to save and protect all harmless life. A scout is obedient. He obeys his parents, scoutmaster, patrol leader, and all other duly constituted authorities. A scout is cheerful. He smiles whenever he can. His obedience to orders is prompt and cheery. He never shirks nor grumbles at hardships. A scout is thrifty. He does not wantonly destroy property. He works faithfully, wastes nothing, and makes the best use of his opportunities. He saves his money so that he may pay his own way, be generous to those in need, and helpful to worthy objects. He may work for pay, but he must not receive tips for courtesies or good turns. A scout is brave. He has the courage to face danger in spite of fear, and to stand up for the right against the coaxing of friends or the jeers or threats of enemies, and defeat does not down him. A scout is clean. He keeps clean in body and thought, stands for clean speech, clean sport, clean habits, and travels with a clean crowd. A scout is reverent. He is reverent toward God. He is faithful in his religious duties and respects the conviction of others in matters of custom and religion. And I've often thought, what would our country, what would our world be like if every person here lived their life by those 12 points? Can you imagine the world that we would have to live in if everyone followed those 12 points, those 12 points of character that make Eagle Scouts stand out in a crowd, that make Eagle Scouts stand out as men among men, that make business leaders, military leaders, church leaders, and lay people admire and respect an Eagle Scout. It's because of the character they have. It's because Eagle Scouts tend to emulate the characteristics that most people admire and wish that they and more people around them had. And as you go on, Dallas, I'd like to share one more little token from my old Order of the Arrow handbook. My family makes fun of me because I read this all the time. But anyway, I love this poem, and it's really helped me out a lot in life, because as you develop those characteristics of the 12 points of the Scout Law, it helps you to look at things from a different perspective. And if you look at the trials and challenges you encounter in life as opportunities rather than problems, it really helps. This is called the law of life. The tree that never had to fight for sun and sky and air and light, that stood out in the open plain and always got its share of rain, never became a forest king, but lived and died a scrubby thing. The man who never had to toil, who never had to win his share of sun and sky and light and air, never became a manly man, but lived and died as he began. Good timber does not grow in ease. The stronger the wind, the tougher the trees. The farther the sky, the greater the length. The more the storm, the more the strength. By sun and cold, by rain and snows, in tree or man, good timber grows. And Dallas, with that in mind, I hope you have lots of problems you can overcome in life to help make you tough and strong. But not too many. Because life is to be enjoyed. And it is very enjoyable, and it's a lot of fun if you maintain your character and stick with your principles. Remember who you are, where you came from, and where you're going. And like I said, you'll be a success whatever paths you choose to trod. Thank you.
Well, Dallas, I'm pleased to be able to take a small part in this presentation this evening. I want to, first of all, congratulate you on this achievement and tell you that we're all very proud of you. Now, as an Eagle Scout, as a holder of the priesthood, as a member of this church, as a member of your family, there are great expectations. And the expectations for you are that you live up to the things that you've heard tonight. And if you will do that, I promise you, you will be successful. You will be peculiar. You'll stand out. You will be different than the people that you will commonly meet in life. In the business world, if everybody would live by the values that a scout learns, the world would be a very different place. In politics, in governments, in world relations, the world would be much better if there were more Eagle Scouts who kept their word. So I congratulate you and remind you of the charge that you have in having reached this achievement, to carry on, to continue to live the values that you've been taught, that you've exemplified. I want you to know that I'm really proud of you. I know how much work you've had to put into this. Had a little bit of a chance to take part in the Eagle Project. That was quite an undertaking. But what a great thing to honor those men and their families, but to build a lasting tribute to them that will impact many people's lives. So thank you. Congratulations. And I say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
At this time, we'll follow through with the Eagle Scout charge by Spencer, and we will go through the award presentation. Brian will do that. After that, we'll have the acceptance of the award. Dallas, go to there.
Well, it is now my privilege and honor to give Dallas his Eagle Scout charge, as he's about ready to receive the highest rank in scouting. The Boy Scouts of all nations constitute one of the most wholesome and significant movements in the world's history, and you have been counted worthy of this high rank in Boy Scouts in America. All who know you rejoice in your achievement. Your position, as you well know, is one of honor and responsibility. You are a marked man. As an Eagle Scout, you have assumed a solemn obligation to do your duty to God, to country, to your fellow Scouts, and to mankind in general. This is a great undertaking. As you live up to your obligations, you bring honor to yourself and to your brother Scouts. But your responsibility goes far beyond your fellow Scouts, to your country and your God. America has many good things to give you and your children after you, but these things depend for the most part on the quality of her citizens. Our country has had a great past. You are here to make the future greater. I charge you to undertake your citizenship with a solemn dedication. Be a leader, but lead only towards the best. Lift up every task you do and every office you hold to the high level of service to God and to your fellow man. So live and serve, that these who know you will be inspired to the finest living. We have too many who use their strength and their brains to exploit others and to gain selfish ends. I charge you to be among those who dedicate their skills and ability to the common good. Build America on the solid foundations of clean living, honest work, unselfish citizenship, and reverence for God. And whatever others say or may do, you leave behind a record of which every Scout may be justly proud. So Dallas, on behalf of the Court of Honor of the Montana Council, Boy Scouts of America, with the high hope that you will always represent the finest of character and citizenship, we welcome you into the Brotherhood of Eagle Scouts and congratulate you, your parents, and your Scout leaders.
Dallas Bailey, will you please escort your parents to the stage? Well, let's see, how do we begin? Dallas, for this one, you have to hold your dad upside down. Well, let's go ahead and have Dallas pin the big pin on his mom and the miniature on him. No, just kidding. You want to pin this one on your mom? Oh, no, you might need some help. Dad will help. Scouts are helpful and parents are even more helpful. So. And here's the miniature for you to pin on your father with your mother's help. I just stick it again. And, oh, they tied it in. They must have learned packaging from mass marketing stores. That's the hardest part of being a plumber now, is getting parts out of the bubble wrap. Okay, Mom, you want to do the honor? Right above this, you can actually do it in the black. Except now that he's an adult, he doesn't wear the pin anymore. Congratulations, Dallas. We'd like to invite you to come sit in the Eagles nest. Oh, first, you gotta salute the mom and dad. All right, let's give him a big hand. And even though tonight is all about Dallas, I think it's really crucial that we always recognize Mom and Dad. And, you know, sometimes you are tempted to pin the miniature on the boy and the big one on Mom, but I know how much Dallas has done on this one. But let's give Mom and Dad a big round of applause.
Well, first I want to say this is a huge honor, and I'm very grateful to have this. This is something I've wanted for a long time. I remember going to both my uncle's Eagle courts and thinking how I couldn't wait till my own, and it seemed so far away, and now here it is. In 8th grade health class, we did these time capsules, and we had to write down a bunch of stuff, and I had to write down my top 10 goals. And I was a typical 8th grade boy, and I said stuff like, get a girlfriend, get a car, get a job. But number 2 on my list, I read this 2 days ago, number 2 on my list was get my Eagle. And after I read it, I just sat there, and I thought how great it was that I could accomplish such a big goal. Reaching this goal required a lot of work, not just the project, but the merit badges. There's so much stuff that goes into these merit badges, and I learned so much from knot tying to wilderness survival, and a lot of leadership. And I know that these things will help me in my future. There's some people I like to thank. First of all, my family, my parents. They've been there since I was a little Cub Scout, pushing me to do what I needed and giving me the encouragement that was necessary. I'm very grateful for that. They also helped me pay for things such as Scout Camp and Scout clothing, and I don't know, I wouldn't be here right here today without them. I'd like to thank my grandfather. He was a huge help to me during my Eagle project. I'm very grateful to him for everything he did to help me. I'd like to thank my leaders. There's been so many of them. Brother Bridgewater, Brother Jost, Jerry Earhart, Brother Simmons. They all had a huge impact on me. The leader that had the biggest impact on me was Brian Sorensen. He's been my leader for the longest time, in and out of my scouting career. He's done so much for me, from camp outs to merit badges and balloon gladiators. But I like to thank everybody, my friends, for being an influence on me, for making me, for the most part, stop me from doing stupid things. But now to end my little spiel here, I want to invite my grandfather up here. Come on. I want to thank him and give him my mentor pin. I can't fit it on him, sorry. And a flag that was given to me, that was flown above the Capitol in honor of the two men that died that did my Eagle Project for, John Seelinger and Robert Shaw. I have one too. And a scrapbook that was made for on the Eagle Project. It has everything in there. It has newspaper clippings. Let me borrow from you. Thank you. And I say this thing in Jesus Christ, amen.
This time, we're going to sing the closing hymn, Have I Done Any Good in the World Today? And then we're going to have the benediction by Jenny. And then, at least, we'll do the flag ceremony closing.
Page 223. Page 223. And we chose this song because it seemed to go really well with his Eagle Scout and what they have to do.
Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for thy many blessings. We're thankful for this great land that we live in. We're thankful for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And we're thankful for the Boy Scout program. And we're thankful for Dallas and for all that he has done. the effort he's put forth and the example he has been to reach the rank of eagle. And we ask you to bless him as he spreads forth his wings to fly, that he will continue to live those principles and standards that he has been taught through this program, that he will help others along the path that they might climb as high as he has. We ask you to bless him in all those things that he does throughout his life, that he'll have thy Spirit to be with him, that he will be guided, and that he will listen and do what thou would have him do. We thank thee for all of his leaders, and for his parents, and for all those who have helped him in this course. And we ask thee at this time to also bless the refreshments, that they will nourish and strengthen us, and bless us as we travel to our homes this day, that we will have peace and safety. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Color guard attention. Color guard retrieve color. Dennis, please rise. Got this in. Got anything exceeded?
Oh, hello there. How are you, Don? Huh?
You didn't know about that flag.
Oh.
Well, that was a little bit of a spiff for you. Well, you got to say one once in a while. Yeah. Yeah. Well, he was good at that. He really knew how to do that. He loved the boys and stuff like that. That big meeting we had, you know, he flew back from Washington when we had that annual meeting. When they brought all of those wells and everything. He was there to greet the people. And, geez, he had a.
Yeah. Hey, have you heard any of the radio ads? Just curious.
I haven't.
Yeah, well,
pretty blatant. Oh, sure. Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. Well, the Federalist started to print mine because they had that big article on it in yesterday's paper. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was the only one. But that's fine. I'm going to go down and chew. That'll just give me a good excuse to go down and chew Michael and Victoria out a little bit and ream them out. And say, I don't want you supporting the increase in water prices. I represent the people a little bit more and quit all this hoodlumism.
Yep, I think we got that on camera.
How was your dance? Can I get a picture of you guys?
Are you embarrassed?
Good job.
I'm embarrassed. I like basketball.
I'll see those guys. I'll go back there and turn it off. Did you see
Yeah,
the rest of
there you
them? No, I didn't look at them all.
Yeah?
I went and found out that it existed.
Oh.
So
It's even almost top secret, huh?
it's black.
Wow.
It's a black
Hey,
organization.
This is now at the Bass Creek Overlook.
Center and Mom on the side. How do you want to do that? Or you want just the boys, Maya? Where'd you go? Hey, everybody in uniform in there. Well, everybody.
Sorry, okay, Jason, come on. I've done the faster we do this, the faster we can do it. Trust me.
Hey, Rhonda?
Yeah.
Let's go out to the memorial after this. So you've all
Just
seen
the
the
one down
memorial.
here.
Yeah,
I gotta
can't
get
up
going. I
the
told
other.
Josh we would be at the house at a little after 6 to see what he's doing.
You can't get up the other one yet.
Well, put your hand down.
15.
Where is it?
It's up at the trailhead.
The one that's at Bass Creek? Is it
Oh,
that?
no, this one is right here by the river.
I know, but
Then there's one up at the trailhead. They don't even open that road. 15.
wasn't the trailhead right there at the end of the?
No, it's up on the hill.
Oh, it is?
St. Mary, or
This is a photo session.
St. Joe Peak, not the trailhead.
Oh, okay, not the trailhead up the, okay. I had the wrong trailhead then.
Pretend you brush your teeth.
2, 3, smile. Leanne? Look at everybody make a funny face or pull your neighbor's hair. Do something weird. Come on. That's
Wow.
looking. What do you go? Dork. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
All right, you guys.
Okay.
Move over there next to Dean and then let the eagle in a little bit.
The girls too.
Get the eagle in there. There you go.
Okay,
That's
Faye,
good.
please, everybody
Right
up here,
there, and then
Preston,
Spencer.
Abigail, come on. Wait,
Wait,
not yet.
girls. Wait till I get a picture of these guys.
Thank you for the
There we go.
I think that means
Yeah.
Now we go.
There's not more participation, but the time probably is.
probably part of it, but we have to go. Dallas is getting a scholarship, and Brandon's getting the Masonic award that Dallas got last year, so we have to go to the award ceremony at 7, so what can we do? Brandon, Colton, we need pictures of the whole Faithly family. Come on, Ethan.
Oh, the bishop had to go somewhere else?
We had a T-ball game at 6. Yeah, so come on, Preston. We're all gonna
They were
go
sure
in there.
good. They all walked
Leanne, come out
around the
here.
camera.
No, Jason. What?
They all walked around the camera so they wouldn't walk in front.
Go stand over there.
But mine was different.
Who are we missing? Me. Mitchell and Marshall. Jason.
Hey, Matthew. Hi. You're a clown, huh?
Dad, I was going to ask you. That performance, the dance performance, she she did, our Nicole did say that she doesn't want video cameras there, but I think it's ridiculous if she's not offering. She said we can film the rehearsals, but in rehearsal they have breaks because she comes in and corrects things that they're doing wrong and stuff like that.
Am I gonna get in trouble?
No.
You sure, huh?
Yeah.
They won't chase me out, or?
No, the worst they'll do is tell you to put your.
All right, everybody say.
So I don't think she'll even say anything.
Set the table.
Set the table.
Say hippie.
Brianna, quit crossing your eyes. Brianna's been crossing her eyes.
Maya, don't laugh at that one about set the table. I've heard her say that one. All right, here we go.
That's a good one. Okay, do it again. Go stick your tongue. Okay, let's do it one more time. What do you guys want to say?
Hey, Jason. Where are you headed?
He's on all fours.
Yep.
He's what you call mobile.
He can walk.
Now, what's this guy's name?
Jason. Matt Dean and Amanda's foster son was soon to be their son.
Oh, I see.
He just got Clarence adopted.
This thing's still humming. Oh. Well, here, I don't want to get in your way.
Well, I want to get the pictures here. I didn't get this all.
Get the scrapbook. Come on.
Get over here.
That's a pretty cool eagle.
Yeah, it is.
Brandon and Mitchell will stand with you. Come on. Come on. Okay,